We have a rule around here. When we recognize a recurring theme, we take it as a pattern. Last hour, I had a gentleman call in who was making $200,000 a year that owed $190,000 on his student loans, and he wanted to do the total money makeover and get out of debt, and he said his wife wouldn't let him. This hour, we had a gentleman call in that said he bought a $10,000 car at 20% interest, and he wanted to negotiate the price, but his wife wouldn't let him. That's two in a row, one each hour for the last 2 hours. So let me help you with this. This is a problem. Okay? It's a problem. Married couples that are smart and that are mature and that have functional relationships take input from each other. And one of them doesn't wear the pants in the family. We work together. Proverbs 31 says, "Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, and he will have no lack of gain." So I don't make major decisions without my wife and I being in agreement. But I don't utter the wussified, wimpy words, "my wife won't let me," either. Come on, guys. Man up a little here. Square your shoulders and at least be half the program. Ladies don't want to be married to a wimp anyway. Not good ones. Now, there's some toxic, overbearing, out there that are test pilots in a broom factory or something, but, that's a different thing, right? But I'm talking about real solid women that are empire changers and empire makers. They don't want to be married to a wimp. And by the way, men don't want to be married to barefoot and pregnant and stupid. We want to be married to a woman that has some square shoulders too and has a brain and uses it to raise great kids and uses it in our relationship and uses her wisdom in our decision making. And so, you angry white feminists, go ahead and send me your stupid tweets because you're idiots, because this is not a feminist issue. This is a marriage issue, and it's the wussification of America, where some of you men need to stand up and be men. You're killing us in this culture. You're killing us. Seriously. And I'm not talking about you have to go gut a deer or drive a four-wheel drive. That doesn't mean anything, although I'm not above doing either one of those things. That's not the point. The point is, have some anatomical attributes. Have a backbone, all right? Seriously. Act like you are somebody. Men and women. And the two of you work together to accomplish things. Now, I'm no more sexist than fly to the moon. Half the operating board in this organization of 500 people are women. My CMO is a lady. 2 of my EVPs are ladies. And they carry as much decision-making weight and as much wisdom around here, sometimes more than some of the leadership guys do in this building. My mom was a full-time realtor growing up, and she was selling real estate in 1968 before women sold real estate. Now all the real estate is sold by women, just about. But back in those days, we got hate mail put in our mailbox because a woman dared to enter the business world. So I'm long away from being a sexist. That's not the point. But the point is, men and women are different, and that's a good thing. And if you're married, God put you together, and you need to, both of you, use your dadgum brains and backbones when you're making decisions. So, ladies, don't call in here and say, "My husband wouldn't let me," because I'm going to call you out on being a wimp too. But for goodness sakes, men, don't call in here and be a boy either. "My wife wouldn't let me." Wuss. Seriously. I'm sorry, but it's just awful out there, you guys. There's this attack on masculinity that's just ridiculous. I'm sorry, I'm not nurturing. Get over it. Seriously, somebody else can pick up that paddle and run with it. It's not me. I'll be compassionate and caring, and I'll serve you and I'll help you, but I may not be nurturing. It may not be in the way I'm wired. Oh, well. So here's the thing. Both of you are making your decisions together, or you don't have a healthy marriage. Either you're dealing with a wuss or a test pilot from a broom factory or something's going on here, but you guys need to get this stuff organized and start making your decisions together. Because if I hear that stuff, I'm going to call you on it, man or woman. That's the deal. I'm going to call you on it. You've got to step up and work together. Let me tell you, the correlating thing that I see more than anything else, you hear these families come in here, they do these debt-free screams, and they paid off $80,000, they paid off $180,000, they paid off $40,000, they paid off $38,000, whatever they paid off. Every time I ask them, what's the key to getting out of debt? You know what they say? You hear them over and over and over again if you listen to this show. They say, we were on a budget, and we were working together. Every time. You don't hear a couple standing here and say, we paid off $80,000, and every time I want to do something, my wife wouldn't let me. You don't hear that. And you don't hear my husband told me what to do, and I just did whatever he said do because I'm too stupid to use my own brain. Somebody told me females weren't supposed to have a brain. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. You hear two solid people that joined arms and said, we're killing this together. And they kill it together, and working together is the key. That's what's going on. This is huge, you guys. It's huge. And when we force families to do a budget together, it forces communication, and it forces cooperation. And did you listen to this statistic? All the women's magazines, the Red Books and the Women's Day and all this doing the surveys. When ladies are surveyed, men, listen to this one. When asked if they would like more communication in their marriage, 97% say yes. Let me help you with that. That's all of them. And that's even if they called Sharon Ramsey. More communication, more communication. That's just a standard deal. When you start doing a budget together, you're cooperating and you're communicating. When men are asked what they would like more of from their wives, it's only 57%, but it's still statistically significant. Say cooperation. You want cooperation and communication in your marriage, men and women? Have a backbone, use your brain, be mature. Adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. Don't be 4 years old emotionally. Have something noble that you're aiming at, like changing your family tree, getting our life back from Sally Mae, and getting away from Chrysler freaking credit. Have a plan here. Lock arms together, communicate, cooperate, and do the written budget. And don't call in here and say, my wife wouldn't let me, my husband wouldn't let me. Seriously, I'll call you out on it from now on, today on. That's it. We just put a new bar right here on the Dave Ramsey Show. That's it. I was nice to both those guys, but it went through my head. What? That's what went through my head when I heard that both times. And I was trying, I don't want to embarrass a caller. I'm not beating callers up unless they just demand to be embarrassed, and then I do. But, I'm not that talk show host that my goal is to destroy every caller. But that's what went through my head when I hear that phrase, my wife wouldn't let me. What? Really? My husband wouldn't let me. What? So what we have here is not a financial problem. We have a marriage problem. We have a relationship breakdown. There's a lack of respect both directions. People, listen, ladies that are of substance do not want a daddy. They want a husband. Men that are of substance don't want a mommy. They want a wife. And if you say stuff like, my wife only gives me so much money, what is she, your mother? Two of you ought to be working together. My husband's got me on allowance. What are you, 12 years old? Step up here. Be adults, both of you. And if you want to call that sexist, jump in the Twitter creek. I'll blow you up on Twitter if you mess with me on this. You're completely out of line if you do. But the wussification of America, it's time it stopped, you guys. Some of you men, man, we need some men in this culture. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.